Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Gashi's Comment TV. The opposition has reached a defining moment. They are in a stage where they are making a very critical decision. Behind the cameras, there are two positions that are highly contested. That of the president and his running mate. The two positions are giving the opposition a nightmare. I want you to realize that the opposition is coming together, and I want you to realize that no opposition leader is being left out. They have agreed on one item, which is very, very interesting, that the Mulembe nation is going to provide the running mate, whoever the presidential candidate will be. And they have zeroed in on three candidates. Number one is George Natebea, the Trans Nzoia governor. Number two is Okiya Mtata. And number three is Eugene Wamalwa. One of them is going to deputize either Fred Matiangi or Stephen Kalonzo Musoka. But the elephant in the room is between Matiangi and Stephen Kalonzo Musoka. Who will be the opposition flag bearer? That is a question that is giving the opposition headache. Ladies and gentlemen, Gachagua is trying to reconcile, is trying to find a middle ground between these two leaders. If you look at Fred Matiangi has been accompanying Gachagua wherever he's going. Stephen Kalonzo Musoka vile amekuwa akifuatana na Rigathi Gachagua popote anapoenda. And everyone has his strong points and his weak points. When it comes to Rigathi Gachagua, initially he used to be seen as he had a soft spot for Stephen Kalonzo Musoka. But now, since Matiangi came, there's something that Gachagua has realized. That it is either Matiangi or Stephen Kalonzo Musoka. And the decision is very, very delicate. Kalonzo Musoka is talking about his age. Those who are for Kalonzo are saying by virtue of his age, by virtue of his experience, Kalonzo needs to be the flag bearer. He was vice president. He has worked in diplomatic circles, Minister of Education, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and so many things. The other strong point they are arguing about Kalonzo is that he comes with a solid vote of about 2.5 million votes. Others arguing that Kalonzo can come up with 3 million votes. This is a strength. And they are saying that as Matiangi comes, he doesn't have a voting bloc other than Kisi. And then they are talking about the number of members of parliament who are actually aligned to Kalonzo. And this is where they are coming up with Wiper. They are saying Wiper has been in the opposition. It's a strong party. It has networks. It has money. And that's the argument. According to me, I'm just putting forward the argument that Kalonzo's sympathizers or proposers are saying. And they are saying that the fact that he's a gentleman of Kenyan politics, then he can only be the best suited to face William Samoei Ruto. But let me ask you, can Kalonzo Musoka, backed by the opposition, attract people to vote for him? Can Kalonzo win against ruthless William Samoei Ruto? Now then comes Matiangi. And the argument for those who are saying Matiangi should be the candidate is that an opinion poll, by the way, is being carried out, and people are not aware. In fact, myself have been asked about between the two whom I would vote, and let me not open up to what I said, but the latest opinion poll done by the opposition is indicating that Matiangi is the favorite. Matiangi is the best suited. Many Kenyans prefer Matiangi. And if you listen to Rigathi Gachagua, even when he's mentioning his name to the public, he's doing it deliberately, you realize that anytime he mentioned the name of Fred Matiangi, the crowd is erupting in celebration compared to when he is mentioning other leaders like Eugene Wamalo, Kalonzo, and so on and so forth. Then they are also arguing about Matiangi's past record. His past record speaks for himself. His past record is so attractive, and that is what is actually making those people who are proposing Matiangi to be the presidential flag bearer. This also talking about the Gema Nation. They are saying that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has been supporting Fred Okengo Matiangi, and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is a very influential person in the mountain, and therefore they are arguing that the Gema Nation is likely to rally to a man behind Fred Okengo Matiangi. There's also the issue of network. He was in the heart of government and he understands how the government works, and therefore they are arguing, much as Kalonzo may be experienced, you cannot say that he is more experienced than Fred Okengo Matiangi. One of the persons is said to have told Kalonzo that experience is not the number of years you have worked, but what you do to what happens to you. What a man does to what happens to him is what is called experience, but not the number of years. And therefore, they are saying that the issue of experience should not be used to actually say that Kalonzo is best suited. Now, the big question is, are these two leaders going to agree? Is the opposition going to agree? And Gachagua, as the kingmaker, has a gigantic task ahead of him. Gachagua must be very, very careful. And what they are doing, they are watching every move by Rigathi Gachagua. And yesterday, Gachagua was seen in Githurai, and despite the heavy downpour, watu waendelea kumsikiliza wakisema Ruto must go, Ruto must go. And the good thing is that Gachagua is not going to contest for the presidency, although he has not ruled out contesting. But from the insider is that Gachagua has indicated to these guys that he's not going to contest, but he's going to support whoever the opposition is going to agree. Now, if Matiangi and Kalonzo do not agree, opposition is going to be divided and will be defeated by William Samoei Ruto. So kile ambacho tungesema hapa ni kwamba wanafaa wawe waangalifu zaidi kuliko zaidi, kwa sababu William Samoei Ruto is going to sponsor so many candidates. And if you look at the government, you agree with me, the government is actually weakening every day. And when you look at even the cabinet itself is now divided. You saw Geoffrey Roko being dressed down by none other than the DP, and then they were summoned by William Samoei Ruto, and Geoffrey Roko was very, very angry with what Kindiki was saying about him. So to him, bendera haimaanishi chochote. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho tunaweza kusema hapa ni kwamba sisi tunawatakia kila heri, lakini they have to be very, very careful, because Kalonzo is not willing to be even the deputy, because what they have agreed is that there's no way they are going to leave out the Mulembe Nation, because if they leave Mulembe Nation out, the Mulembe Nation is going to go to William Samoei Ruto, and therefore they have indicated that the Mulembe Nation has agreed to give the running mate. So the problem is the presidential candidate. Are they going to agree, ladies and gentlemen? What should be done, by the way? Because I can foresee a situation where Matiangi will be on the ballot, Kalonzo will be on the ballot, William Samoei Ruto will be on the ballot, and many other sponsored candidates by the government. And that is how election is lost and won. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.